Hello everyone, Bertina Amy here, and welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are doing 5 fall Dollar Tree and Thrifted DIYs. First is the one that started it all, the Dollar Tree DIY Unique Pumpkin Wreath. So here's my ribbon. The entire thing is folded. This is the center that I folded earlier. You can kind of see the bend right there. So I'm going to work on this section, and I'm going to want to wrap this around this top wire a couple of times, but I want the folded edge to face towards me. The idea is I just want this basically tied on to the actual wreath form. Okay, so I want to make sure that either side of the ribbons are on the outside of these wires. Okay, so for the first wrap around, what I did for this side was I wrapped the one on the right over to the left while taking the one on the left, bringing it over to the right underneath the top one, and just kind of doing a braid with going around the wires. So I want to pull this from under, going over the wire, pulling the one on the left under, going around the wire, and just repeating that process, making sure that my right goes above my left each time. So I'm getting towards the end already. I don't know if you could, oh gosh, you can't see that. I'm running out of space. Let's see if I can just, I'm going to do it like this. Let's see if you can see that. So here it is. I'm folding it like this, going around the wire. For this side, doing one last around. And I don't mind if it kind of, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not looking for perfection here. So this is how that's looking. I need to make sure it's wrapped around this wire so it stays attached. So I'm just gonna, this one's already under, so I'm gonna go through, over the wire and then through, like that. And then this one, I'm going to the back and pulling it through to attach. Okay, so now that these parts are done, before I figure out the center in between parts or whatever, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this stem part. In fact, I'm going to flip it this way for better viewing. And you go ahead and use just basic twine from Crafter Square. It's going to be enough. First, I'm just going to try to make a knot so that the twine is attached. There we go. I'm not going to worry about this. This can always be hot glued later. But I like to go under the wire, then take the tail end of it and go over the wire through the loop I just made, and pull until it's tight. Rinse and repeat until this whole thing is tied on. I'm going to leave this bit of jute twine in case. So I decided that I would save it for a crafting purpose, and I decided to attach it up at the top for the stem in the same manner that I attached these ribbons. That's why it's off camera. And in any case, I'm so thankful because I really want to be able to show you a finished product, and this can be finished as is, but I really want you to see what it's going to look like once this is all complete. All right, so I'm going to do my best to wrap this around both and not just the one. So this is just one way you can attach them, but I do think it looks more seamless to do it this way. However, in my latest DIY pumpkin wreath, I do it in a different way. I also think that doing it this way causes the whole wreath to actually be more sturdy, as when I experimented doing it the other way in the latest one, I felt that it was a little bit more wobbly, but it'll still be fine. All right, so I'm just going to attach it by kind of weaving it. Okay, so both of the sides are complete. I did on the right side, let me see if I can show this, but I decided to wrap the edge so that on the one side you could only see the orange, and it helped with the gaps that I was having issues with. And I'm going to repeat that on the left side. These leaves come in packs of 5, and they're easy to attach just by the fact that their stems are made of wire. I used 3 of them to keep up with the odd number of items on the pumpkin. Okay, so I am finalizing my pumpkin right now. I think I prefer this uh, scarecrow over here. However, he is not going to stay very well, but I don't really want to use, I think I should use the hot glue gun, but I'm going to trim off this excess. I actually don't want this to be perfect or whatever. I'm actually kind of hoping it'll start to fray. I think the frayed look is cooler. It'll look more rustic, I think. All right, that's kind of neat, right? And I want to do the same with this side. And I'm just gonna do a simple slant. I'm not doing that dovetail stuff. Normally I would for like bows, but seeing as this is not intended to be a bow, this is more intended to be just the tail ends of the stem. I think the slant is just fine. So that's why I'm actually just gonna put him over here. Kind of like the idea of, see here, I'm just gonna maybe squeeze him in like this. I just poke through like a hole within the weaving I did, and kind of like him on the right side. And this is just going to drape down, and I did not cut off the ends of my pumpkin with the tails because I really like the way that that looks. Oh, and then the other thing I wanted to do too was I wanted to introduce these satin sort of teal type pumpkins. I just want to use one of these. I basically would just want to cover up the sort of ugliness of that. Let's see if I can get this. Will it poke through? I don't know if it's going to poke through. Here we go. Yeah. Just like that, just kind of cover it up. I mean, this is optional. I'm not hot gluing anything down in case I change my mind. Sometime later down the road. A little bow in there would also be really cute, maybe like a fall bow. Totally optional. And of course, you could embellish this as much as you wish or choose to leave it as plain as you wish. I tend to think less is more. And with the tails, I was debating about decorating those. That's also optional. To each his own and their preferences. And now I'm going to show the final reveal. And here is the final result. I really love the way that this turned out. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Next is a Dollar Tree DIY fall pumpkin centerpiece from 2024. And instead, I'm going to use this. And he'll fit perfectly just inside. So I found these daisy bush. I don't know why it's spelled that way. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, I found these. I thought they were so cool. They look new to me this year. And I thought these would be great to complement the look of this seemingly lonely pumpkin, or should I say jack-o'-lantern. And the reason why I'm having these facing the way that I do is because you're not really going to see it from the glass side of it anyways, and I think it looks pretty this way. And here's the final result. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Next is a Dollar Tree DIY fall pumpkin centerpiece, a different version, which could also go inside the glass case instead. So for today's centerpiece, I thought it would be fun to upgrade this pumpkin from the $5 or the Dollar Tree Plus section. Okay, I was able to figure it out. So you actually have to unravel the wires from up top. You don't go inside after all. So I should be able to push these wires with my pliers through like that, and then pull it out. There we go. And then hopefully that's not obvious anymore. But yeah, so I might use this for another project, but I didn't want it for this. So I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to bring back these leaves here and use it to give this some greenery. I'm just going to play around here. These leaves are from the daisy picks from the DIY wreath earlier. Add glue about there, and then add glue about there. So I believe, yep, that comes right off like that. Okay, so this is what I've come up with so far, and the only thing that bothers me the most is the fact that the scarecrow, you could tell he's on a stick. So I'm thinking of upgrading him by going ahead and taking this burlap ribbon and just wrapping the upper half of this stick so that it gets covered. I'm going to do maybe about a couple of inches off camera. And here's the final result, both with and without the lights on. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Next is the Dollar Tree DIY Unique Pumpkin Wreath, where I showcase a new ribbon wrapping method. A new fall pumpkin DIY, and I found these 3 yards of ribbon. This shade is new to me. I don't recall seeing this last year. It's kind of a reddish brown, I feel like, very fall-ish. And I'm also going to do this differently than I did the one from last year. If you'd like to see how I did that one, feel free to check out that video. I'll try to remember to link it down below. Okay, so here's my ribbon folded in half both ways. I'm going to go ahead and show you how I'm going to ribbon wrap this. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this first at the top, like that. And I'm maneuvering it because I want the folded edge to face me always. So this is going to go under and around this way, and this one's going to go over and around. You could actually change the way you go about this and keep the same pattern. So like since this ribbon had to go under and around and this one went over and around, then we should continue that, because what it does is it gives an alternate pattern. And I'm going to insert an image of last year's pumpkin wreath just for comparison's sake. All right, so as I said, in previous videos and tutorials of ribbon wrapping wreaths, I always wanted to go over and around and under and repeat over and around and under, crossing over, right over, left, over and over again. This time, I'm going to follow how the ribbons originally laid. So this one went under and around, this one went over and around. But because this one went under around, that means when the ribbon goes to the left, you're going to go under and around. And when the ribbon goes to the right, you're going to go over and around, and repeat that. And I decided to actually do this one upside down, where I just turned it this way and attached it and wrapped it in the same manner, because I thought it would look nice if the gold, because it tends to show the gold edging only on the sides, like on the left side when I'm wrapping right over left and then maneuvering everything like that. So I thought I would do the opposite for this side. Professional maybe. And then repeat on the other side. Let's bring in the other one. Place it on top. Let's go ahead and, at the very least, I want to attach this one to the one underneath. Hot glue here, here and attach it there. Clip here. Let's turn this back. Is then start wrapping this around. I'm not doing anything fancy at this point. Can I fold this inward? Yep, I'm going to do it like that. And then re-add hot glue there. And clip that. Bringing back the first one I was putting together. Is just going to wrap towards the back, hopefully connecting the top piece to the back piece. And then I just realized I haven't made any attempts to make sure that any other parts are attached, but you know what, we will deal with that later. You could do what I've done in the past and make sure you intertwined along these sides if you wanted to. Add some hot glue. Probably overdid it in terms of how much excess I actually really needed. Okay, so here's my ribbon, and I'm just going to squeeze this in here. And feel free to do the stem portion before you attach everything. I'm doing it this way because I couldn't decide on which one I wanted to do. Okay, so there's one side. Now I got to wrap it through the other side because I still have this wire exposed. So I'm just gonna go in through here and maybe squeeze in this way. Okay, so then this is gonna look tricky. That's the other thing, is because of the way these Dollar Tree wires are. When you layer one over top the other, it just ends up like kind of making it look like as if these are crooked. You can tighten them, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. So, okay. So then this can wrap. Okay, so I did maneuver this a little bit, and since I'm planning on going with this version, all I did differently here is I wrapped this over the left bar, under and over, and I did left over right instead, and then I just went over like my old style of ribbon wrapping instead of doing it like this because I wanted this to be the star. And I think this is the way to go. I will admit that this feels more like a raincoat material versus this feels closer to like fabricy burlap, if that makes sense. Okay, so to finish this off, and I think I'm just going to do it at an angle about there. This is eyeballing that there, and then this one like maybe here. Sorry, you couldn't see that, but so they're about even. I just kind of eyeballed that. And here's the final result. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And last but not least, Dollar Tree and Thrifted DIY unique pumpkin centerpiece. So in today's video, I would like to work on this as my project. I found this at Goodwill, as you can see, for $3.99, which I thought was a pretty good price considering how large this is. I don't have the largest of hands, but this is pretty large, and I thought this would make a gorgeous centerpiece. I'm going to go ahead and take this ribbon completely off the spool. So here's my ribbon folded in half both ways, and I'm just going to pick a section, say like here, and I'm going to just start wrapping. In fact, I think I'm going to do, because I want to go and use the new ribbon wrapping method, and now I'm going to go, I think how you start it doesn't totally matter. I'm just trying to, I think the word I'm looking for is I'm just trying to lock it into place. So maybe if I do it like maybe this, and maybe I squeeze it up like this, that way it's not obvious. And then I can do under and under. So if I do, say I do this way, and that's, maybe I go under and over instead, because I want the alternating pattern like in my wreath video. Okay, so if that's the case, then it's gonna go, let's see if I want right over left. So right, and then this one is gonna go under, and we're gonna adjust things as we go. And I realize it's gonna probably be difficult to try to get this exact styling of a pumpkin, but you can apply the same concepts to their miniature pumpkins that they always sell every year. Okay. And then I'm gonna adjust and adjust. Okay, so then we're going right over left, and this one's gonna, even though it's going over the left, we're just gonna pull it under the bar. And because it's curving, that does kind of change the appearance of the ribbon as it goes. But I'm not mad about that. I think it's pretty still. So, all right. Right over left. Over and under. And I'm going to keep going until I reach near the bottom, and I'll be right back. All right, so here we are near the end, and I'm just going to tuck this around on itself, and then I'm going to fold. This is kind of hard to do while trying to film, but I'm going to fold this down like so, and then add hot glue. Unfortunately, messier than I'd like it to be, but okay, so here's what I have so far with all 4 sections attached. And I just repeated the folding and gluing down towards the bottom. Okay, so I want this piece to match the wreath I posted recently. Just turning it this way. And I'm going to cross, let's see, I'm going to cross over like this and go through like that. And then I'm just going to wrap this going towards the end. I'm not doing anything. I can't really do the fancy ribbon wrapping method, unfortunately. So, you know what? We're just going to use, maybe I just do it like, I think I should just use this other piece. Kind of just like that. And then I can glue it to the underside. Okay, there we go. I think you could see that, hopefully. It's a little dark, but I'm just going to push that in. I don't need this much. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it like this so it has a nice folded edge, and repeat that on the other side. And then I'm going to add hot glue. We're almost done with this project. And bring it down here and just kind of have that get glued on. And then to seal it, just going to add hot glue down in here. I know you really can't see that. Sorry about that. And then I'm just going to push it down. Probably should add a dab of hot glue every so often. So if I do maybe like there, stem in like so, and then I can glue that way the part that had some kind of sticky sticker or whatever gets covered up too. And then like that. And then this is where it's going to meet again. So I'm going to do dab there. And then what I'm going to do is, actually I don't think I need to. It's pretty secure. I'm not going to tug on that. But these are going to be like separate things kind of coming out of the stem. I hope that makes sense. I don't think you could see that. I'm sorry. I just realized that, but there it is. So as I was going ahead and trying to do the final results shots, I really didn't like the pairing with the green burlap leaves. Let me know what you think in the comments below, but I decided to switch it out instead, and I didn't want it bare. So I did definitely want to embellish it. So I decided to go with these blue leaves that I had on hand from last year's stash. These would actually help bring out the blue from this pumpkin. So I think I'm going to use this instead of the green leaves. I'm going to go ahead and cut these down as I need to, and then just kind of stick them where I want them to. Also, I want to point out, I think the back looks far more realistic than the front. I believe that's supposed to be the front. The back shows the veins. I like that better, so this might be backwards. But I'm going to go ahead and use the back end instead to be displayed. But I think that's going to pair like look a lot prettier anyway. And here are the final results from all the projects from last year and this year. Please let me know in the comments below which of the 5 is your favorite. And if you made it this far to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it because it really helps my channel out. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe. And until next time, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.